going to be talking as, the Catholic Church records in FamilySearch are one of the best collections, so the biggest collection for Hispanic research. Of course, it has the, what I call the basic records, which is baptism, marriage, and burial records. The one that we're going to be focusing today, it will be pre-marriage investigations, which is información matrimonial, diligencias matrimoniales, and it has another names for it. Other of the records that Catholic Church records, the collection has, it's, census, wills, parish account books, capellanías or chaplaincies. These are very important because it has a lot of information for genealogical research. And of course, we have lawsuits and the cofradías or fraternal order books. We're not going to focus on those, but there's some other extra or very valuable records in the Catholic Church collection in FamilySearch. So what is pre-marriage investigation? This is another name, some other names that you can find in pliegos matrimoniales or expedientes matrimoniales. There was a process to prove that the couple was in good standing and didn't have any canonical impediments. That's how they call them. I love these records because they have, you can find names of and dates of ancestors which do not show on regular marriage records, and not on all of them. It helps you establish a relationship between ancestors up to the 4th generation. In some of these documents, you can actually see like a genealogical tree. You can see a graphical relationship. They can contain some decimal records if they had to prove something, if the issue is affinity, or the record of that record if it has to do with somebody that already passed. So there's a lot of information here, very, very valuable. At least in my research, I have found this very, very valuable. The parts that they consist, it's and it could be a different order, but most of them are this order. It's an introduction, then the groom's declaration, the bride's declaration, and then the witnesses' declarations, the days of the amonestaciones advance, and then until the day the couple was married, if chosen in that page. So, you get the names of the bride and groom, the place of birth and residence of them, marriage date, the previous spouses, and how long they have been deceased, the name of the parents, the residence of the parents, and then the witnesses. They also have the age of the witnesses and the marriage status, and some information that we have some of the ancestors is coming through this. We don't find a record of themselves, but we find them in an información matrimonial for somebody else in these pre-marriage investigations. So the most, when there was a canonical impediment, they will have a dispensation, and you can find also some documents just name dispensas. Okay. So what was a dispensa? When was a dispensa needed? Is when they were related by blood up to the fourth degree of consanguinity. The affinity, that means they were related by marriage. The age, if the bride was very young, or both of them were very young, and if somebody has given a promise of marriage, which even just it was very, very important, very valuable. It was just a promise, even if it was just verbal. If it was not complied, they could even go to jail. If there was any previous marriage, or it was some sickness, anything they have made a vow of chastity. These are some of the impediments. This will be on degree of consent with the blood relationship. This would be the 4th generation. Second, this will be 2nd degree and 1st degree. This is what a dispenser for blood related will be. This is one in whoever's related, have ancestors in Durango. The families here mentioned here are very, very famous. They were all, most of the descendants come from these ancestors. So here what's happening is these two are related. The bride, the groom is Juan Jose Garcia, and the bride Maria de los Dolores Chaides. Both of them are related in 2 different degrees. So they're asking, they should ask for the dispensa. And as you can see here, but this is Juan Jose Garcia de Valdez, which is the complete last name. And he was the son of Cristina de Herrera and the grandson of Nicolasa de Chaide. So Nicolasa de Chaide was sister of Antonio de Chaide, and Maria Dolores Chaide which is the bride, was the daughter of Antonio Chaide. So he was marrying his mom's cousin on one side. And then on the other side, he was, and it's also the same family tree, except for from the side of the Nevares side. So Maria Nevares was her great grandma, and then it was Nicolasa de Chaide that we see here, and then his mom, and then him. But then they were related also here. So the more probably is that both of them were also, this other relationship here had had a dispensa when they married and had these kids. So they were very, very, they were related in several areas. So eventually they were approved. Most of the dispensations were approved. They finally were approved on the 26th of January of 1951. And one of the things that they say is that that's where they want to marry. Most of the people there, they're related. So it was very hard for them to find somebody that was not related to them. So it was approved, and they gave him penitence, confessions, particular communion prayers, etc., and also a fine, 10 pesos in that time. One of the other things that are very important, that are useful, even if there was not a canonical impediment, is the fact that you can find very important information here. This was a brick wall for me because I knew they were from Spain, but I didn't know from where. So finally I found this Información Matrimonial from Francisco Ochoa, which is one of my great-great-grandparents. And the nice thing about here is that he specifically detailed that he was from Navarra, Spain, and the Bishop of Pamplona, in the town of Iturmendi. This is very, very important because when I went and checked on Navarra, there's lots of places, but this Iturmendi was the breakpoint for me to be able to track this relative mind way back. So even if there is no canonical impediment, these are so useful for that reason. This is another dispensa, and it's from the 1664, and this piece is, it's so old that we have pieces of the images. This starts with this information. It's about Jose de Leiva and Alferez Nicolás de Novares, which they have known each currently, but they were cousins. So of course, the families, they were not happy, and there were so many discourse. Both of them one of the parents was a mestizo, so there were tribes, Indian tribes on one side. At least that's what they were arguing, that they had to get married because there were too many problems causing this relationship out of wedlock. Then there's another piece. This specifies that this Nicolás de Nevares is the son of Sargento Mayor Cristobal de Nevares y Heredia and Ana Martín from Santiago Papasquiaro. And Juan Josefa Guillén de Leiva is the daughter of Juan Guillén y María de Leiva. Now, what they're saying is that Sargento Mayor Cristobal de Nevares is the brother of María de Leiva. They eventually get married. I think they started the process in January 1664, and they eventually get married in March 1664. Now, this is another one of my ancestors too. But what is very, very interesting is this ancestor, my Cristobal. Hold on. this Sargento Mayor Cristóbal de Nevares y Heredia, according to the documents from that area, the area shows one that he is the brother of Maria de Leyva, and that he is the son of Juan de Leyva, Isabel Luisa de Muñoz. But this other person, which is another brother, Pedro de Leyva, is a very, very famous character, prominent in New Mexico, and he's and there are books and a lot of documents where they have described her first marriage. I think his first wife and kids were killed in a revolt, and then he married again. But so there's a conflict saying that no, they're not related. The books don't mention at all this Sargento Mayor Cristóbal de Nevares y Heredia. But in this document, it shows that they are actually, if Cristóbal Nevares was the brother of Maria de Leyva, of course he was the brother of Pedro de Leyva. Now, if you see, the parent does not have Nevares anywhere, and you can see these when you go on the early 1600s and the 1500s and beyond. You can see that they don't follow the protocol of the last names as we know. So, but if you see one of the sons of Pedro de Leyva actually carries the Nevares right there. If you see books, they cannot explain why he's Nevares. There is a book or a document. I haven't read them. I'm just reading, the notes that they put on why they keep separating these two, which they're actually relatives. But it says that in a book they say that this Pedro is the brother of Nicolás de Nevares, which, according to the records that we have, is not true. So this is why this is fascinating for me, this other record. Okay, so how could you find this in the marriage information? In FamilySearch, most of them are not indexed because they're bound documents. They could be up to 4 pages or more, and they have a lot of information. So most of them under the index is marriages. But for Mexico, there are 2 websites at least that I know of. I found another one. I guess they keep growing. There are 2 that are very famous. One is the Despensas de Guadalajara, which is this one. And what they do is they give you can search by the names of the ancestors you're searching for, and they'll give you the field number in FamilySearch where they can find them, and in the image in there too. The other one is this Valladolid Despensas, which also is kind of the same process. And like I said, I found another one that is from Jerez in Zacatecas. So now, remember that, I don't know if you know, but Guadalajara, or the diocese of Guadalajara, was very, very broad, cover a broad geographical area, the same as Valladolid. It's not just the state that now they are, which Valladolid is in Michoacan, now Morelia, but they do have, you can find from Guanajuato, from even Sinaloa in Guadalajara, or Durango. You find some other dispensas which are not, they're really restricted in that area where the name says. The other way to do it is going to FamilySearch and going to the catalog, click on the search tab, and then catalog, and then enter, like you can enter in the catalog where it's displayed, you can enter a specific area that you want to search. It's this, I just put Mexico, Hidalgo, Huichapan, and it brings you here. And the 2 collections that they have, of course, we're looking for registros parroquiales, the church records, and you go by date. Usually we go this one, the oldest one. So if we scroll down, where you get to that page and we scroll down, you're gonna, once you search for información matrimonial. Not all the church records for every place has información matrimonial, unfortunately. We don't have pre-marriage investigations for all the places in Latin America, but some of them, a lot of them do have it, and they're very valuable. The other way that you could do it is also to the catalog and exactly select the keywords and enter información matrimonial. As your keyword, and you press enter, you're gonna find all the records that have información matrimonial. They are in alphabetical order, and of course you can search to them. There are several pages of them, but this will tell you exactly which one has actually información matrimonial. You can search that way. The catalog gives you more options. You can go by year. Or you can go by category, language, etc. I click on English. It's not true. There was no información matrimonial in English, but the Latin was right. There's some in Latin. I don't know if you can read Latin. You can also enter pliegos matrimoniales. When I enter pliegos matrimoniales, it seems like this term is mainly used in Peru. Another way to search in the collections in FamilySearch will be going to click on search and then records, and then you'll see this page, and you can click on browse all published collections. And this is actually also very useful. They have it by areas, you can see, or country. They come, of course, in alphabetical order when you click on browse all published collections. But you can select which area or country you want to see. Of course, in this case, I click on Mexico. That's my country, but you can click on anyone that you're interested. And it'll show you all the collection it has per state, or you can click on all Mexico, which I did. It gives me everything. And then what I actually also did was I clicked on the last updated, or the last time that these collections were updated. And you can see some of them were updated Thursday. So if you have been in FamilySearch and you have done research and you have, just by looking for index records and you haven't found anything, it's nice to come and check here and see if they have updated something. That way you can go in there and click and see what else is there after, before, see the last time that you check on it. Up to here, I think I went very fast because I know I'm out of time. But if there's any questions.
Since we can go into the lunch period, it doesn't matter. So you actually have more time if you'd like.
Okay, my plan was, of course, I went really fast through this.
Yeah.
In my time. But my plan was to from here go and actually stop sharing my PowerPoint and actually go into FamilySearch and show you some of the.
Okay, that would be great. You can do that.
Okay. So that's what I'm planning to do. If there are no questions, I'm gonna stop sharing this.
And actually, you have about 45 minutes before lunch. Some of the talks were longer than yours, so you have plenty of time.
Okay, let me. Okay, let me share this and see if it's possible. So you can see my FamilySearch?
Yes.
Okay. As I was saying, one of the things that I like this browse to all images to see what they have updated lately, especially if you have been doing research a lot. I use FamilySearch mostly for all my research that I have done. And I have been able to go into Spain all the way to late 1500s, one of my lines, which, and just using FamilySearch. That's what I really like FamilySearch, you know, being free and all that. So if you click on search and then records, and then you go here to browse. I guess I click somewhere else. And I'm going to click here on browse all published collections. If I go to Mexico and I want to see all Mexico, and I click on last updated, you should have to click it twice because they didn't show you. There you go. And since this is one of my favorite places, of course. I have a lot of ancestors coming from Durango on my mom's side. And so since I know I'm in Durango, I'm trying to move this thing so it's not in the way. Since I know I click on Durango and it's one of the ones updated, so I'm just gonna put just like that, Amada Ochoa, which is a person that I know have some relatives in there, and I want to see what else can I find her. I keep looking for her death certificate. I have not been lucky enough to find it yet, but just put in the Amada Ochoa. Remember, it's only one collection, okay? So it's looking only on Catholic Church records for Durango, because that's the one that I selected. Okay, one collection only. It's different when you go through another area and then you get all the collections where that name is, and you have to get more information. But I know I'm Durango, so by going here, I can see there's Amada Ochoa here, and this one I know it's I have this information. But then you see this one, it's Amada, and it has some of the names that I recognize, which is Carlota, but they put a Pascano. That means it's the person indexing. Or they're also doing in FamilySearch, they're indexing by computer. So of course the computer is gonna, you see, this record was indexed by a computer. So the good thing is you can go actually and check the image. You always do that. At least I always like to, if it's not linked, then I'll look for the image. But okay, hopefully FamilySearch is not too slow. There we go. And you can see the L was look as a P. That's why they put Carlota Pascano, but it's Lascano, which is my mom's last name. So I can find Amada Ochoa. This is a record that I didn't have. And because this shows María Merced, hija natural de Carlota Lascano, and they put here the maternal grandparents as Remedios Lascano y Amada Ochoa. So we always come back to FamilySearch and search your records that you have not found before. And you're gonna find, eventually this daughter of her is recognized by the parent, by the dad, and we have another record where they actually recognize Maria Merced as daughter of a person called with last name Cano. So this is very, very useful whenever you have been in FamilySearch and you don't find what you want. The other thing is sometimes you have to look. I don't know if you're familiar with using a walk in FamilySearch. One of the last names in my relatives is Landay. And they reside in Sinaloa. So I would just put it like that. It's not a very, when it's not a very common last name, you can just put just the last name and see what pops up. So I can see several long days here. My relative, it's Platon. Platon Landais. I can see some of them, but if you see, the good thing about FamilySearch, it will give you anything that resembles it. You can see Landais with E-Y. If this was even Landu, I think it was an E and an I, and they index as U. And this is EI. But sometimes when the first name is not that uncommon, then you have some issues. So the other thing to do it is, when you're looking for Landais, you want to see different spellings, you can go right here and just put an asterisk and search again. So then the way you can get more. Of course, you're going to get anything that goes by very close. So if you want to avoid that, you can go and put an E and then the asterisk. And put again Platon. Now I'm getting glad as a Platon. So you get another here, Lander, which is also another error, either because the indexer couldn't read it or because it's a computer generated indexing. We click here. You see another here. You can see final Platon Landais with double L again, and so you have more options of the same person when you use the wildcards. The other thing is also sometimes you're looking for Lascano, but you don't know the names. Like neither my grandpa or her dad were ever registered. They don't have a baptismal record, and there's not a civil record of their birth. So the only way that I was able to track them is through their siblings. Initially, I thought my great-grandpa was the only sibling of this Remedio Lascano and Amado Ochoa. But as more documents were indexed, I found that they were actually in Durango, even though the family, and most of them were born in Sinaloa. They started, well, actually, if one of the things that is good when you're doing research is checking your geography. This part where they were living in San Luis Gonzaga was very close to Durango and Chihuahua, to Guanaceví, Durango, and Chihuahua in Guadalupe Calvo. So that's why they were moving in that area, even though geographically they're separated by states, but physically they can travel between those two areas. So if you go here, and I will put just the father as Lascano, Remedios, and then you're using this search by relationship, just the mom put as Ochoa, and then you hit update. So you can play with all these fields in FamilySearch. That way you can get more information. You can see I start getting this Carlota Lascano that we saw, the other one. This is another of her sons, Luis Lascano. If I go and put this and change this to Sinaloa, I may not be able to get much information because they were not registered there, unless when they were they got married and they said where they were from. But I don't find them, as the kids in there. I'm gonna So you have to keep, sometimes the other thing I do is I don't put the specific state, I just put just Mexico, and then I put like that and see what I get. That's why I found out the other ones in Durango. I just didn't put the state. So you have to play with this different information. Going back to one of the información matrimonial, where I was able to track where my relatives came from. Remember that on one of the información matrimonial, what it says, that he was from Navarra, Spain. So when I got that information, I went to search records. I'm sorry, I didn't use records, I used search and then catalog. And like the example I show you, I put here Spain, Navarra, and then search. And it takes me to this page where it says places within Navarra, within Spain, Navarra. And you see there are tons of places. But remember we said that he stated that he was from Iturmendi. So that information was crucial for me when doing this research, because it only didn't give me just the country and the state or province, but it actually gave me the exact town. So when I click on Iturmendi, you also get all these records. I've been not that lucky doing to here. I can search and do some other stuff, but I don't really have much. It takes more time and it's harder to get there, at least for me it's been. But if you have the actual place, you can go and click on Iturmendi. And there's shared records, which I know I will find at least baptism records and marriage records and all that. So I click in there. When I did this research, not all of them were indexed, but I don't know if you're familiar with these icons on these results, but these icons here, they mean different things. When you have the magnifying glass, that means they have an index. So you can actually just put the name and get the results. When I did it, they were not indexed, none of them. This one, that means they're indexed, but they're not images. It's only on a microfilm, and it's only available at, if you want actually to see the actual record, you have to go to the Family History Center, which these microfilms are now only at the library in Salt Lake City. But these ones that have the camera, that means you can actually check the image. You see all this, even though they're indexed already, you cannot see the image, the actual record, which I love to actually always see the actual records, because you're always going to find more information if you check on the actual record. So I was lucky enough, I went and there were, as you know, on when people live in one town, so I found a lot of relatives in one place. So, well, this one doesn't have images, so not that one. Let me go back. Not that one. Oops, it took me all the way down. Let's see. So we're going to go back to Iturmendi and then click. Oops. No. Sometimes you don't get exactly what you want. See, now it doesn't want to do it anymore. Let's use my finger and see if that works better. I'll go here. Registros parroquiales, which is church records. And then I went here. This one that had images. Like I said, when I was doing it, they didn't have, it was not indexed. And I found a lot of this I ended up knowing that Ochoa, actually the full name was Ochoa de Herrarte. Let me show you my family tree. So we're talking about this grandma. And I'm still looking for her mom. But I found out that this Francisco Ochoa was her dad. And this is the girl that he married. You see the difference of an age? This is the girl that she married, and that on that information matrimonial that we saw. So I was able to track him all the way to his parents. Let me show history. So that's Francisco de Ochoa. And I was able to track all the way to this Johannes Ochoa de Herrarte. And all the way to his dad, which is Juan Ochoa de Herrarte e Turmendi. Apparently, the Ochoa was actually a first name that eventually started being used as a last name. What I was so excited about this one is that I found a document where he has the signature of this great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa. You see right here, he signed this document. And the reason that he signed this document is because several children had been baptized, but there was no record of it. Well, there was a record, but it was not, the official record signed and all that. But the bishop of that church died, so he had to attest that actually those kids have been baptized, and that there should be a record of that. That's why I was able to find this Juan Ochoa de Herrarte, his signature. This is from early 1600s. So that's the only, of course I don't have a photo. I wish I had a photograph of him, but I have his signature, which is, being able to see a signature from a relative from the early 1600s is very, very exciting. But looking, like I said, it looks like Ochoa was one of his first names, and then eventually turned out to be last name. And then when they moved to Mexico, they completely ignored the Herrarte. Turmendi disappears earlier. They start using just Ochoa de Herrarte. But once they come to United States, after Mexico, they come to America, they got rid of the Herrarte, and they only use the Ochoa. I kind of went back and forth because I'm so sorry I didn't come in time. Got confused with the time records, but the time schedule. Well, if there's any questions, I know my time is up, and like Tom said, we can go into lunchtime if there's any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Let me see, there was one in the chat room. It says, will a copy of the PowerPoint be available? The left side is cut off and I'm unable to adjust the screen. Mm-hmm. Do you think you can maybe send me the PowerPoint and I can make it available?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, just email it to me, and we have a place that we can put it and they can grab it from there.
And I do have a question. Are we able to go on to FamilySearch and search like our ancestors for any country? And also, are the people that came on the boats or out through Ellis Island, are those records available also through FamilySearch?
I have found some of them in there. Yes, you can find, as you can see when you go on search and records, and then you can see browse all the published collections. Right here, browse all published collections. Then you can see which area you want to search. You can see probably Ellis Island in the on the catalog and put I haven't done it through here, but we can check it out, put keywords and put like Ellis and see if we get anything. There's some very information tracing your family history through America's Gateway. So if they don't have it, then they will send you to the website that has it.
Okay.
The catalog is very useful in that part, that you can enter, go in keywords and start entering whatever you want to search, specific, and see if FamilySearch has something in there. And like I said, again, if you go to records and browse our published collections, you can go here and you can see either countries or areas where they have, depending areas of how much collections they have, how many records. They group them by areas like Africa, Asia, Middle East, Australia. I know most continental Europe. And you can see all the different countries there. The other thing that I also suggest, if you're starting and you're looking at what it is, what we have, or how to do it, the wiki in FamilySearch is also very useful. You click on wiki. It's not too slow. And you can, select again, like an area. And let's say you want to search in Denmark. And it gives you all this information, which I love, because it gives you how-to guides, birth information, marriage information, and it tells you what to look for. They also you can also ask people. They do have a blog. And then which are the online genealogical records for Denmark. And they have the gazetteer for finding places and names. Denmark websites where you actually can do research. Spanish word list. And I know that area you have, depending on the time of the that you're searching for, you can find different languages. So it could be Danish, German, even Latin, and they give you the list of the words on these records that are more used, commonly used in there. Different the feast days that they celebrate, and wiki is really useful, especially when you're starting. You have getting to know, I always say that knowing the geographic and the history of the country or the place you're looking for is very useful, because then you know that, like Persian Philippines, there's a time when you're going to find records in Spanish because they were governed by Spanish for a while, and et cetera, et cetera. It depends on, but it's good to go here. Wiki has a lot. Wiki FamilySearch has a lot of information. They have a guide to Denmark ancestry, family history, and genealogy, the records and everything that they have. You can add to it if you know. There's several ways that you can search. Did that answer your question, Connie?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't see any more questions on the chat. But if anybody else has questions, they can unmute themselves and go ahead and ask a question. Okay, I have one. Yeah, go ahead. Thought I heard somebody else talk. I have one question. I know that I was able to find the New Mexico Origins book by and on as a PDF to download, and which is really great. Do you know of any other books that are available from FamilySearch?
There, sincerely, I have not done much research in books. But if you see here in when you go to search, you go click on books, and there's you can search the digital library and see what else they have.
Okay.
Okay. It also shows you another additional resources. And you're familiar with the Arizona State Library or the records they have. They have good records for Mexico also, and northern, southern United States. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. That's what they mentioned, this Pedro de Leiva. They don't mention nothing about Cristobal de Nevares, so that people keep, I put them together and then separated. They put it together and then separated. So I say, okay, I know there's brothers, so. What else could I do? It's a fight there because people, and I understand, there's a book, it's recognized in the whole thing, and that book did not mention Cristobal de Nevares, but there are records where they show they were brothers. So
yeah,
it was like, the oldest son, they don't mingle with his younger kids, his relatives, I don't know. But there's some other, but yes, this is the way to search. Catalog, it will give you, like sometimes this, if I put Lascano, I think I did find a book here. Descendencia Federico Errázuriz, and there is that one. And this will more likely will have some information, some of the Lascanos. There is a book actually with where they have the photo of where the first Lascanos, at least the more known one, and they actually have the building has the name Lascano.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but this is a way to look on what other books they have. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You can find your search, as you can see, subject, language, etc. Any other question?
Doesn't look like it. So I appreciate you being here. And I'm glad we had extra time to get your presentation online. So for everybody else, we're going to go to lunch and then come back at 1:30 and go ahead and visit another session. So thank you, Rachel.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's okay. I'll talk to you later. Email me your PowerPoint and I'll go ahead and put it up.
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bukani.